Well, hello, and welcome to the Coaching Business Spotlight Show. I'm your host, Kat Connect, and today I'm going to talk to you about why you need more than your head smarts to succeed as a coach in business. And in order to make it fun and interactive today, I have invited my husband and business partner, Curtis. So, Curtis, welcome to the show. It's always good to have you.
Thank you, Kat. It's good to be here.
Good. So we're going to unpack this topic a little. And this came up for me because I was noticing in a couple of different areas, and one in particular, you and I talked about this. We had one of our community members talked about, he was talking to colleagues, other coaches about this program and how fantastic it was. I'm just going to say, he was saying it was fantastic. I'm just quoting him. And
Okay.
how much he was getting from it. And there was some doubt on the other side because they were like, well, that sounds like a lot of things that aren't needed. Why don't you just get the business basics? That's what we would do. And then there was another call we had where one of our members reported that they had also been in connection with other coach colleagues who were getting training for business and found that they limited their training because it did not have a soul component. It was all in the head, it was all about spreadsheets, and people just burned out. They couldn't sustain the training, let alone taking that information and bringing it to their business. So that's kind of a bit of the setup, but there's one more piece before I want to bring you in on this because I know you remember this. You weren't there literally, but I've told you about it enough times when I was in a program, and this program had way more head in it than heart. I'm just going to say it had some heart, but more head. And the person who was leading, we were looking at the name of our business and we were talking about what is the ultimate promise that you want your business to deliver. And I got it. It was soul driven. I just knew it. I'm like, well, I want my clients to succeed, but it has to come from the soul. And I said, soul driven success. And the leader said, no. She's like, no, that's not good. You need something a little more like, be the 6-7 figure coach or something. I'm like, no, that's not it. That's not really what I want to do. And we went back and forth 2 or 3 times until she finally said, I get it. It has to be soul driven for you. And I'm like, yes, it does. And I'm so grateful that I stuck to that because the business that we now have is so fulfilling for me, for you, for the people who take part. And it would not be if we did not have the soul driven part in it. So I'm curious, and this is like anything that comes to you off the top of your head, what is soul driven or like what makes that a component? How do we even bring that about with the people who get trained by us?
You're the trainer.
Well, what
How
do
do
you
we
think?
bring it about? I
What do you
love
think are the soul driven
oh my
parts?
God.
Yeah.
Well, I think woven into every part of our curriculum and program and the way it's been created by you with my help is a sense that a business is unsustainable unless it has something we call soul in it, that it has a resin. There's so many words, but there's no real. The only word I can think of is soul. Is that thing where we're all attuned to. We all get that soul is something invisible that's powerful and very positive, and it's what we love about doing things. They have soul in them. Music that has soul in it,
Right. It's
we
right.
go with. We like that music. We like those businesses have that energy.
Mm.
And I think early on, you and I, in our businesses, our call to be coaches was because this seemed like a way of earning a living that felt resonant with some ineffable part of ourselves.
I love that. When I was thinking about this, it's very, very similar. It's like what matters most to us.
Yeah.
When our soul is like, when it's soul based, it's, oh, this is what I really care about. And depending on your spiritual belief or I feel like the soul is like, here's what I'm here to do. This is my life purpose is coming from this place in me that says, This is what makes me happy. This is what turns me on. Here's where I'm meant to be. And so I want to, what is it like juxtapose? What's the word?
Juxtapose.
Juxtapose. So some people are like, yeah, that's just too woo woo or that's soft. And I really want to challenge that the soul driven part of making your coaching business successful is essential. You're not really going to be able to succeed unless you have a component in your business and how you build it and how you run it that comes from that place inside of you. So I would say I would almost feel like it's scientific. We could prove it scientifically. I don't have the proof, literally, but I think we could.
Hear so many people in the business world saying that's just a bunch of hooey. That what makes business successful is you find a product that you sell, a service you sell, and it makes money, and you can scale it and grow it until you get 6 and 7 and 8 figures and all that. I think there's something on the surface that makes that seem true. But I think that if you scratch the surface, you're going to find around 70% of the American workforce is disengaged from their work. That means
Mm,
they're not connected to the job they're doing every day. And I think that's because they, and so they're not committed. They're not giving it their best. So much productivity is lost. And I think that really what makes the difference for the other 30% is they feel that soul connection to their
mm.
work. And so they're engaged. They're not disengaged. They're actually engaged and contributing and giving it their all. And so I think it's an essential piece of sustainability and longevity in a business. I
You
can
know,
hear people say, well, Tesla, for example, it's got to be soulless with
well,
that leader. But
I want to say a couple things. One thing, a coaching business is very different than a car,
yes.
right? A car is a piece of, metal with fires and things. We're talking about a human to human service. No matter whether you're selling a product, whether it's your own coaching, whether you're coaching a group, whether you have it's humans. That's what we are selling. We're selling a human to human connection. So maybe you can succeed at other industries without it being soul driven. I'm going to make another comment on that and hold this thought for me. Okay. This is your job. Hold the thought that I just put out there. It's different in coaching. But as you were talking, I was remembering my career in the Postal Service. And I started out as a mail carrier. That would seem like a soulless job. I don't know. But my gosh, was it full of soul for me. I got to make people happy every day, bringing them packages. And there were so many things that it was honoring values of mine. Besides that, I got to get home for my kids before they got home from school. And then when I was on the executive team, I really got to make a difference in how people communicated and not just the executives, but the carriers themselves and the managers. And I got to impact them. And it was soul driven for me. The Postal Service, I'm going to say no, probably not so much. But I brought my own soul driven
Yeah,
success to
there
that
you go.
job, right?
Well, you could bring soul driven to anything, Kath. That's one of the things I love about you.
Well, this is why this is such a passion of mine. Is yes, you can make anything soul driven, and it's specifically essential. This is what I learned when I started my business is, oh, this is different. I can't, the marketing of it, the talking about it, it has to come from my heart. It has to be who I really am. You use this word attraction. If we want to attract our ideal clients, so many coaches, that's the marketing strategy they'd like to use. And it works somewhat, but it doesn't work if you are coming from your head because people will not connect with that message and they will feel it. They like a deadness. Like, what are you even talking about? Or you might make the most intellectual case for why your coaching works or how you help people, but people aren't listening from here. They're listening from here because you're talking about their life. You're talking
Yeah.
about helping them personally on that deeper level. So this is where I come back to the human to human piece. It's like in order to make that work, we have to, there needs to be other ingredients besides basic business strategy.
Beautiful. I agree. Well, the two words that have been going through my head while you're talking are authenticity and truth.
Mm.
There's something authentic about a soul-driven business, coaching business, let's say, or any business. There's, I, I, I I don't know, just it's real, it's true, it's transparent, it has that sense of, well, this person's telling me the truth. I love that. That's a high value of mine.
Oh, yeah. And that's one of the things, honoring our values, but that value around truth. And I'm imagining most coaches have some value around authenticity, integrity, being true to yourself. This is kind of how we roll as coaches. And so, therefore, that saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. And if you're going to try too much of a head approach with your business, and I have seen this, I just looked at this quote because I was kind of looking back at one of the timelines for a workshop. One of the clients who are highest success, let's say money wise, when he when I talked to him about how he had succeeded in his business, he used a lot of head. But what he said to me was, he said, "You and I both know I never would have been able to do it if you hadn't helped me get clear on what was in my heart." Because that was the missing piece for him. This was a person who had bought, created, and sold numerous businesses. And he came into the coaching ready to go. Okay, I know how to do this. And he got really stalled out because he wanted to just go about it with the nuts and bolts without really getting clear on what was important to him and how he needed to go about building his business. So I think this is good news. Would you say that's how I think of it? It's like maybe there are coaches out there who haven't given themselves permission to really do the work that what you and I call that soul work, where you're digging in to find out what's really important and you're clearing out the crap of all the stuff you think you're supposed to do. And it's about how do I do my Instagram reel as opposed to what is that? What's in me that really wants to be expressed here? What's in me that I can bring forward that can most impact the people that I want to impact? Because that's a whole different approach, I would say.
I would agree.
You're so agreeable today. Can we have this
You
all,
want me to
all
disagree?
the time? This is great. I just love this. So tell me, we built this business, we call it soul driven success. I'm going to reframe the question from earlier. Like, what are the main components that really help people make it soul
Well,
driven?
you go to our website and there's the three pillars right on the home page. And one is you got to have the talent, you got to have the skills, you got to be a trained, certified coach who actually knows what he and she or them or they are doing. Two, you need to be positioned to make money. You need to support a lifestyle that's fulfilling. So it needs to be prosperous. And three, the third pillar, as we call it, I love that, is this, it has to have soul. So what are the components of soul, Kat? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, well, I'm curious. I don't know if you have an answer to it, but I'm just kind of curious. Like, what makes that so? And you've said some things already. Like, it's true, it's authentic.
Truth, it's authentic, it's resonant,
There's a
it makes you
creativity to
happy.
it.
I get off of the work, our work, or the work I do separately. I get off of those calls and those conversations. I'm restored. I'm actually more energized. So than I was before I went up. Sometimes I'm in a flat place and go on a call. I'm coming out way up here. And
That is,
it's because
yeah.
that's the quality. And I again would say there's not really a word or description. You can kind of get the shape of it, but everyone knows for him or herself what that means,
Yeah.
what that feeling, that resonant energy, that good feeling that restore, even when you're doing really hard work.
Yeah, that's what I wanna bring in, a couple things because it helps you. That soul piece helps you get through the challenges. It helps you do that really hard work because you've got a little
Yes.
engine in you that's like, "Yeah, but I love this. This is what I wanna do. This is right
Yeah.
for me. So I will be vulnerable. I will learn things I've never wanted to learn. I will do some of the things because of that." So we use the word sustainable. When your soul is in it, it's sustainable. This is something we have noticed in our community because we have an online community and we connect on coaching calls and groups. It creates connection when it's coming from the soul. And I just think that's a truth. When we're coming from that place in us that goes, yes, this is more than just my brain saying it's a good idea, something opens in us, some kind of way of connecting with other people. That's where the magic lives for me. That's something so, and there is no way to really pin it down. I love what you said. You know it when you see it. It's different for everyone. I'm just thinking of what you said a couple minutes ago
Yeah.
about how satisfied you are in your work. And I remember the years you and I worked together so that you would have that. You could find what is soul driven for you, as opposed to this is a good way to get clients. These are clients who are the most hungry. There's all that out there, the hungry fish. But you found, oh, these are the clients I most want to work with. These are my people. And it's been true. But because it comes from, it's just like who you are. And like, these are the people and this is the work you are most talented and have the strengths to do. And it's the kind of work that makes you happy. So the other piece I want to add in here is when it's soul driven, it's often messier. I just want to say
Amen.
that because
It's
I know
messy.
it's messy. We want things in a straight line and give me the A, B, C, D. And I have the step by step in the courses, our self paced courses. They are step by step, but the steps include what is it individually about you, and you have to take that out and experiment with it, and you have to fail. We did talk about this has been a topic in our group calls. I had my women's group this past Sunday and we talked about it. Soul, if you're doing something soul driven, you will fail because it's authentic and true and honest, and you can't truthfully, honestly, authentically be perfect. You have to figure things out as you go. You have to put things out that are rejected. People don't understand them until they do understand them. So it's messy. It's vulnerable. It is risky.
Oh boy.
Riskier, right? It's riskier, like emotionally. And you have to take some risks to really go for that. Whatever is soul driven in life, I believe there's a risk in. You might not get exactly what you want. Might not look how you think. It might feel other people might not like it. You might have to go through some dips in order to get to the heights, just like anything that's worthwhile in life. So I want to kind of wrap us up here with this is like some tips for people, some tips for the coaches out there, because some of the people listening to this show are in our community. Many of them are, and some are not. They come into our public community. They find the podcast out there on Apple or Spotify or somewhere, and they get curious because I hear from some of those people. So I'd like to leave tips. Like, here's an actionable way to make your coaching business soul driven. Are you ready to help me?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, let's see. I think tip number one is it's kind of like accepting, embracing the fact that to be successful, you're going to need both your head, your heart, and your heart, or that soul. There's a connection, but you're really going to need more than just facts to succeed in this business.
So what's an action Is it a self-awareness? I know
Yeah.
I'm aware of my thinking, I'm aware of what I'm feeling, I'm aware of my intuition and my gut. So it's an openness to what's actually here and happening in me as I go about doing my coaching, building my coaching business, and working with folks.
Great. So step number 1 is awareness. And I wanna carry that through to step number 2 is as you're aware, notice when you're doing something, putting a post out on social media, talking about your business to a friend. Start staying aware. Where does it feel too heady? You can feel yourself like, I'm getting in my head too much. And where do you feel that resonance in yourself where you're like, oh, that's it? That's the place in me. That's what's important. Just get curious about that. So, awareness is number 1. Curiosity is number 2. Get curious about what's happening when you're having that soul feeling and noticing how a lot of the challenge lives up here in the head. So, awareness, curiosity. I feel like we need one more step.
I have one.
Okay.
Action. I think when your soul talks to you, it's urging you
Mhm.
somehow into moving. Souls like new experience, and our minds don't because it's generally uncomfortable. But
Yeah.
generally, it's like, oh, this coaching is the big hit. I like this coaching business. I want to do this. And then you move into action, and you need to keep moving with awareness and with curiosity and listening and intuition. But then there's the forwarding the action that,
We're bringing on the coaching skills here. I love it. These are
amen.
all coaching skills, right? So, everybody listening to this show, you have these skills. So, we're giving you some tips on how to apply them to running your coaching business. And I love the way you just put that, Curtis. It's yes, you get into action. You have to get into action, but get into action when you feel that urge. And if you're not feeling the urge, get curious and tune up your awareness because you might not be listening and you might be getting too heady.
Yeah.
Because that's what I find when so many of my clients come to me and they say they're overwhelmed, they're unmotivated, they don't know what to do next. And often within 10 minutes of a coaching, either in a session or in the group call, they're like, oh, right, that's right. Because I've helped them tune back up. So it's helpful to have a coach, yes, and be around. I'm going to encourage that and have community, yes. But some of this you can do on your own. Notice when things aren't working for you. What are you listening to? Like which voice is speaking? Is it a heady voice that's full of there's a lot of things wrong here because the head tends to bring in what, or is it that soul voice that's like, "Oh, that's what I like. That's what I love." And here I'm going to add one more piece into this because I'm doing a circle thing with my hands. So if you're not watching but just listening, and now I lost the thought. Okay, it was a really good thought too. I want to bring it back.
You're gonna get I'll say one thing that just
Okay.
jumped up for me is I said action. Sometimes our soul is saying no. It's saying,
That's right.
wait,
That's right.
just stay with this, Curtis. Just stay here. I tend to want to move into more impulsive action. So sometimes I need
That's
to
when you
slow
wanna
down.
right, that's when you pause and go, "What's really happening here?" That's that awareness piece, and what is my soul speaking to me? Because sometimes your soul will say, "Take a rest, take a nap, take a walk, take a vacation,"
That's
right?
funny.
And the head is like, "No, no, no, I've got too much work to do. How is this ever gonna get done?" But you and I both know that you listen to that wisdom, and those are when the most magical things happen. Those are the times I know for me is when my inbox starts getting filled up with requests for consultations and when I've done the very thing, whether it might seem counterintuitive or not. I listen to that voice and it always guides me in the right direction. So tune in, have that awareness, get curious, take the action. And the piece still hasn't come back to me. It'll probably be 5 minutes from now. We'll end the show. I'll be
Oh
like, oh,
my gosh.
yes, oh no. So if you're really curious about what I'm going to remember in 5 minutes, send me an email. Write it down, and only the people who contact me are going to get the answer to this brilliant insight I had about that soul-driven piece.
What
So
were you
important.
thinking about?
I don't know.
What
So we'd have to go back and
mm,
listen. And this
oh,
is a
okay.
lot, we're not going to do it. And we're not going to, this is people are like, what? I'm a teasing people a little bit. I'm sure that you've got your tips, you've got your assignment, everyone. I think that maybe that piece though was about how when you're in your head too much, when you're trying to create from your head and your mind and just following tactical steps, it's like you're gonna run out of gas. Anybody here ever run out of gas? Have you ever been driving down the highway and you ran out of gas and the car just kind of stops and then you have to get refueled? And it's a great big chore. So much easier. This is why in my courses I integrate the soul work with the business strategy to just mix them up, keep it going. Use your, oh, and I got it. And we're not out of time yet. The soul comes first. Put it in the right order, right? This is my soul search process. First, listen to your soul, listen to that gut feeling, that intuition, then use your head. Oh, if that's what my soul is telling me, now my mind can be fully activated. What would be the best way to do that? And what would be the strategy that would bring that about? Right? So get that order going. Soul first. Soulful, soul first. Use your soul. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Curtis. It's always fun to have you on the show. And I so appreciate everybody who listens. And I love it when you send me comments. And I hope this has been helpful. And I'll talk to you next time. All right. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.